She asked for a hall pass for her gym trainer. I laughed and said, "Shoot your shot." Then I booked a weekend trip with the woman she was most insecure about. I, 32M, work as a project manager for a logistics company. My entire career is built on risk assessment, spotting supply chain breakdowns before they happen, and managing people who overpromise and underdeliver. You'd think with that kind of background, I would have seen the red flags in my own marriage from a mile away. But apparently, love doesn't just make you blind, it makes you stupid too. I'm writing this because I need to vent, and honestly, the sheer level of audacity I just witnessed needs to be documented for future generations of men who might be ignoring the warning signs. My wife, 30F, let's call her Jessica, and I have been married for 5 years. We were solid, or so I thought. We were that couple who hosted game nights, split the chores, and were saving up for a lake house. We were boring, but in a good, stable way. That all changed about 6 months ago when Jessica joined the gym. Now, I'm not talking about a regular Planet Fitness where people go to sweat and leave. This was one of those boutique, high-end fitness cults. You know the type. Dim lighting, loud EDM music, instructors who speak in motivational quotes, and a membership fee that costs more than my car insurance. At first, I was supportive. She wanted to get in shape. Great. She started going 3 days a week, then 5, then she was doing 2-a-days. She dropped about 15 pounds and looked incredible, I won't lie, but her personality underwent a complete transplant. She started criticizing everything I did. My diet was trash because I ate carbs. My job was sedentary and soul-sucking. She swapped her comfortable jeans for $100 leggings and started posting thirst traps on Instagram with captions about finding her power. And then there was the trainer. Let's call him Kyle. Kyle is 24, has the IQ of a kettlebell, and looks like he was carved out of granite. Jessica talked about him constantly. Kyle says I have great potential. Kyle says we should switch to organic kale. Kyle thinks you should come in for a consultation because your posture is ruining your chakras. I brushed it off. I trusted her. I figured it was just a gym crush, a little Kira worship. I was wrong. The bomb dropped last Tuesday. We were eating dinner, steamed chicken and broccoli, naturally, when Jessica put her fork down and looked at me with this weird, intense focus. It was the look she gets when she's been listening to too many empowerment podcasts. "I think we need to disrupt our routine," she said. I chewed a piece of broccoli. "Okay, you want to try that new sushi place this weekend?" "No," she said, rolling her eyes like I was a toddler. "I mean sexually. I've been reading a lot about ethical non-monogamy. It's really healthy for modern relationships to explore boundaries and remove the stigma of ownership." I stopped chewing. My stomach dropped. I deal with negotiations for a living, and I knew exactly what this was. This wasn't a discussion, this was a pitch. "Explore how?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "I want a hall pass," she said. She didn't even blink. "Just a one-time thing, a weekend, no strings attached, just to get it out of my system. I think it would make me appreciate you more. It's like hitting a reset button." I took a sip of water to buy myself time. "And who is this hall pass for? A celebrity or someone specific?" She blushed. It was the first time she looked guilty. "Well, Kyle, he's been very supportive of my journey. There's a lot of tension there. It's purely physical. I just want to know what it's like, and then I'll be done. It's like eating a cheat meal. You enjoy the burger, but you go back to the salad." I looked at her. I really looked at her. This wasn't a request for exploration. This was her telling me she was already emotionally cheating and wanted permission to make it physical so she wouldn't feel the bad guy. She wanted to have her cake and eat it too, and she wanted me to hold the plate. A million screaming thoughts went through my head. Throw the table, scream, cry, but my work brain took over. Assess the risk, mitigate the damage, countermaneuver. If I said no, she'd probably do it anyway and hide it. If I said yes, I was a doormat. I needed to flip the script. "Okay," I said. She blinked, stunned. "Okay? You're cool with it?" "If it's good for the relationship, I'm open to it," I lied. "I've been feeling a bit stagnant too. But fair is fair. If we're opening the marriage, it's open for both of us. You get a hall pass, I get a hall pass." She laughed. It was a cruel, dismissive sound that hurt more than the request itself. "Right, sure. Who are you going to use it on? The cashier at the grocery store?"
She really thought I had zero game. She thought she was the prize and I was just the lucky winner holding onto her coattails. Actually, I said, leaning back, I was thinking about Leah. The color drained from her face so fast she looked like a ghost. Leah is my business partner. We started a side consulting gig 3 years ago. Leah is brilliant, funny, and objectively stunning. Tall, dark hair, sharp wit. Leah and I have always been strictly professional, mostly because I respected my vows. "You want Leah?" she stammered. "Well, yeah, we have great chemistry. We travel together for work. It makes sense. Just physical, right? Like a burger?" Jessica's jaw tightened. Her knuckles turned white, gripping the table. "That's different. She's your coworker. It's emotional with her." "No, it's not," I said, shrugging. "She's fit. She's hot. I'm curious. So if you go with Kyle this weekend, I'll book a trip with Leah. Deal?" She stared at me. I could see the gears turning in her head. She was so arrogant, so convinced that I could possibly not land Leah or that I was bluffing to scare her, that she nodded. "Fine," she snapped. "Whatever. You won't do it anyway, but I'm booking a hotel with Kyle for Friday." "Shoot your shot," I said, forcing a smile. The next morning, I initiated Operation Scorched Earth. I knew she was already cheating. You don't ask for a hall pass for a specific person unless the groundwork has already been laid. I needed proof, and I needed to protect my assets. First, I called Leah. "Hey," I said, "I need a massive favor. It's weird, and it involves Jessica being crazy." Leah listened. She laughed for about 2 minutes straight, then she said, "I'm in. What's the plan?" "I'm booking us a strategy retreat in Miami for the weekend. Separate rooms, obviously, but I need you to post about it. I need you to make it look like we are living it up." "Done," Leah said. "But you know she's going to murder you, right?" "She can try," I said. I booked the flights and the hotel, the Four Seasons in Miami, and left the itinerary open on our shared iPad in the kitchen where I knew she would find it. That evening, I came home to World War III. Jessica was pacing the living room. She looked like she was vibrating with rage. "You booked the Four Seasons in Miami with her?" she screamed the second I walked in. "We have a lot of strategy to discuss," I said calmly, taking off my shoes. "And since I have a hall pass, I figured we could mix business with pleasure. You're spending the weekend with Kyle."
With Kyle, right? I didn't want to be lonely. "You are spending $2,000 on a hotel room for a tramp," she yelled. "It's my bonus money," I reminded her. "And don't talk about Leah that way. She's a professional. Besides, aren't you going to a hotel with Kyle?" "I forbid it," she yelled, stomping her foot like a child. "I am your wife. You cannot go on a trip with the one woman I am insecure about." "And I'm your husband," I shot back, dropping the calm act for a second. "And you're planning to sleep with a guy who counts reps for a living. The door is open, honey. You kicked it open. Don't get mad that I'm walking through it." She stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. She spent the next 2 days trying everything to make me cancel. She cried, she threatened to leave me, she tried to seduce me, which was awkward and desperate. She even called my mother and told her I was having a midlife crisis, leaving out the part about her own hall pass. But I held my ground. Thursday night, while she was at the gym, prepping for her weekend, I decided to do a deep dive into our finances. We have a joint account for bills and separate personal accounts, but we have full transparency, or so I thought. I logged into the joint account to check a mortgage payment, and I noticed something odd. There were withdrawals, cash withdrawals, $300 here, $500 there, ATM fees at a location near her gym. Then I looked at the credit card statements. Elite Wellness Coaching, $1,200. Supplement Stack, $400. I dug deeper. I called the bank and asked for images of the checks she had written from the back of the checkbook, the ones I never use. There was a check for $2,500 written to Kyle, last name. Musclehead had a name, and apparently he had a rent problem that my wife was solving with our savings. I felt a cold rage settle over me. This wasn't just a physical betrayal, it was financial infidelity. In our state, dissipation of marital assets on an affair partner is a huge deal in divorce court. She was literally paying him to sleep with her using the money I earned working 60-hour weeks. She was paying a gigolo with my paycheck. I called a lawyer immediately. "I need to file
fast, and I need a forensic accountant to total up everything she spent on this guy. The lawyer told me to sit tight, gather evidence, and let her go on her date. Catching her in the act was good, but catching her spending the money was better. Friday came. I packed my bag for Miami. Jessica was standing in the kitchen, arms crossed. She looked exhausted, but also defiant. "If you go," she said, her voice shaking, "don't bother coming back." "That's a bold ultimatum for someone who is driving to Kyle's apartment in an hour," I said. She froze. "You never told me we were going to his apartment." "I know a lot of things," I said. I grabbed my suitcase. "Have fun, honey. Make sure you get your money's worth. You certainly paid enough for him." I walked out the door before she could respond. I didn't go to the airport immediately. I drove around the corner and waited. 10 minutes later, she came out, wearing a dress I bought her for our anniversary, carrying an overnight bag. She got into her car and drove off. I followed her for a bit, just to confirm. She didn't go to the gym. She went to a garden-style apartment complex on the dodgy side of town. She used a key to get in. A key? She had a key to his apartment. This had been going on for a long time. I drove to the airport, met Leah, and we flew to Miami. Now, I want to be clear. I did not sleep with Leah. We sat by the pool, drank margaritas, and she helped me organize the spreadsheets of the financial theft my wife had committed. We took a selfie of us clinking glasses with the ocean in the background. Leah posted it on Instagram with the caption, "Weekend vibes, business and pleasure?" My phone started blowing up instantly. Text from Jessica, "You jerk!" Text from Jessica, "I want to answer me." Text from Jessica, "I'm calling the police." Then the silence broke. She called me. I put it on speaker so Leah could hear. "You are embarrassing me," she shrieked. "My friends follow her. They see you with her." "And where are you right now? Are you at Kyle's? How's the training going?" "I'm at home," she lied. "Really? Because I have the GPS tracker logs on the car. You're at the Oakwood Apartments. Opt 4B, right?" Silence. "I'm sending you an email. It's a PDF. Open it." "What is this?" Her voice trembled. "It's a divorce petition and a summary of the $7,200 you funneled to Kyle over the last 4 months. That's marital fraud. My lawyer calls it dissipation of assets. You're going to have to pay that back out of your share of the equity, which, considering you don't work full-time, is going to leave you with exactly nothing." "You can't do this," she sobbed. "I made a mistake. I didn't sleep with him yet, I swear. I came here and we just talked." "Stop lying," I said. "I'm done. And by the way, you might want to ask Kyle about his fiancée." "What?" "Yeah, Leah did some digging. Kyle is engaged to a woman named Brittany. She's 6 months pregnant. She thinks he's at a bodybuilding expo in Vegas this weekend. I just sent her screenshots of your Venmo payments to him with the captions, 'For a good time' and 'training sessions' emoji. She's very active on Facebook. You should check your messages." I hung up. I found out later what happened next. Apparently, Brittany didn't wait. She drove to the apartment. Since she also had a key, she walked right in on them. I wasn't there, but the police report my lawyer pulled later painted a pretty vivid picture. Brittany went nuclear. She slashed Kyle's tires. She threw Jessica's overnight bag off the second-story balcony. There was screaming involved. The neighbors called the cops. Jessica ended up spending the night in a motel because Kyle, trying to save his engagement, kicked her out immediately. The rest of the weekend was actually pretty relaxing for me. I turned off my phone, Leah and I ordered room service and watched bad movies. It was the first time in years I felt like I could breathe. When I got back on Sunday night, the locks weren't changed. In fact, her car was gone. I walked into the house. It was quiet. Too quiet. I went to the bedroom. Her side of the closet was empty. The jewelry box, empty. On the bed was a note. "You ruined my life. Kyle kicked me out because his crazy fiancé showed up. I have nowhere to go. I'm staying at my mom's. You are a toxic, manipulative narcissist. You planned this whole thing. I hope she was worth it." I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. The projection was so strong it could have powered an IMAX theater. The divorce process was brutal, as expected. She tried to claim I abused her emotionally. She tried to claim the Miami trip was adultery, but my lawyer was ready. We had receipts, literal receipts of separate rooms. We had Leah's testimony. And, most importantly, we had the financial trail of her paying a gigolo with our retirement savings. She was paying a gigolo with my paycheck. The judge was an older woman who had zero patience for entitlement. When Jessica's lawyer tried to argue that she needed the personal training for her mental health, the judge asked, "And did this mental health treatment require overnight stays, a key to his apartment, and cash payments labeled fun money?" Jessica didn't have an answer. In the end, I kept the house. I had to buy her out of the equity, but because of the dissipation of assets, her share was
significantly reduced to cover the money she stole. Since she had no job and no assets, she walked away with enough to buy a used Honda, and that was about it. She moved back in with her parents in a different state. Kyle obviously ghosted her the second the money tap turned off. Brittany actually left him too, which was the only redeemable part of his story. Last I heard, Kyle is working at a different gym, and my ex is trying to become a wellness influencer on TikTok, posting videos about healing from toxic relationships and finding your divine feminine. I'm still single. I'm taking my time. Leah and I are still just friends and business partners, though we did joke about going back to Miami next year, strictly for business, of course. The most satisfying part wasn't the money or keeping the house. It was the look on her face during the deposition when my lawyer asked her, "So, to clarify, you asked for a hall pass to sleep with a man you were paying with your husband's money, but you felt your husband going on a vacation was a betrayal of your vows?" She didn't answer. She just glared. But we all knew the answer. She wanted to have her cake and eat it too. She just forgot that I was the one who bought the cake, the plate, and the table she was sitting at. If you enjoyed this story of how I turned a hall pass into an eviction notice, hit that subscribe button. It's cheaper than a divorce lawyer and way more entertaining.